Hi, hello. I have made a discovery that I want to share with you guys. And this discovery is about being like super productive, like three times as productive as you were before doing questions, okay? And I'm really proud of my discovery. I think it's a game changer for most people. It's a game changer for me. I've been doing a shit ton of questions more using this method. What is this method? Basically, instead of reading the questions myself and answering them, I try to answer them three at a time, and I use a text-to-speech software to kind of get to the answer quicker. This way, I'm like focusing my studying on the activities that are more important, which is like analyzing information slash like making a differential slash ruling things out and coming to an answer. So I'm putting my brain more towards that than towards reading the question, trying to be fast, stuff like that. Things that are not necessarily um, medically important skills. So this way you can go through more of like the content and less of the motions of studying. You can be way more productive. Ever since starting this, I'm getting more questions right because I'm making less mistakes. I'm being way faster than before. Like crazy difference. Um, I think the best way to do this is I'm gonna demonstrate it towards the end of the video, but do it like three questions at a time. So, just copy your three questions, drop them in the text-to-speech software. And honestly, I think the question banks should like come up with something like that because I can't imagine it costing that much. Um, but it's definitely helpful. One disclaimer, if you keep doing this a lot, yes, you're reviewing your content, but you still need to remember that you need to practice for your tests. This won't be your test practice. They will still be your content practice. Excuse me. Right? So this is like a super productivity method. Let's do like three questions right now together. So I'll have my text to speech software open that I literally just like Google text to speech, whatever. And then I'm copying and pasting my questions in here. Okay. So I'll do three questions at a time. Okay. And these are relatively three lengthy questions. And I'm setting the speed on the text to speech like thing on 2.0 just so I like get the answer that much faster. So three questions entered, it's like processing. The whole length of
A
that thing
28-day-old
is,
female newborn is admitted
oh
to the
wait,
hospital because of vomiting.
okay. Let me increase the volume so you hear what's going on. I'm gonna go at 1.5 because I want you guys to also appreciate it. But usually I go at 1.75 or 2.
A 28-day-old female newborn is admitted to the hospital because of vomiting, poor feeding, and failure to thrive. She was born at 38 weeks gestation to a 24-year-old woman, gravida 2, para 1 with a birth weight of 3420 g, 7 pounds 9 ounces. The mother had no prenatal care and declined newborn screening. She did not smoke or drink alcohol during her pregnancy. The infant appears lethargic. Her temperature is 37.0 degrees Celsius 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, pulse is 75 per minute, and blood pressure is 4120 seconds millimeter Hg. Examination shows clitoromegaly and posterior labial fusion. An ECG shows frequent extrasystoles and peaked T wave.
All right, so in my mind, this is what's going on. Low blood pressure, hyper and aldosteronism. So low blood pressure, hyperaldosteronism. What are we thinking? We're probably thinking of a 21 deficiency, right? If you have 21, like a 21, remember those three enzymes that you can miss. You can have congenital adrenal hyperplasias. If you have It's like if you have the 17 deficiency, you have hypogonadism. This girl has hypergonadism. So if you have the 11 deficiency, you'll have hyperaldosteronism or hypermineralocorticoidism. This girl has hypo, right? So the question is asking sodium level, potassium level, cortisol, aldosterone, and androgens. So if she has the deficiency in her, um, she has low blood pressure, so she would have to have it in her 21, meaning the first enzyme needed to make mineralocorticoids, right? So she has low mineralocorticoids evident by the low blood pressure. She'll have uh, increased potassium, decreased sodium, cortisol will be decreased. I already have my answer. Okay, it was a relatively easy question, but this is how I do it.
Arterial blood gas analysis on room air shows. pH.
It's the same question.
7.30, PCO2. 30 millimeters of mercury, PO2. 80 millimeters of mercury, HCO3-. 14 milliequivalent /L chromosomal analysis shows a 46 XX karyotype. Further evaluation of this patient is most likely to show which of the following sets of additional
Okay,
serum
next
findings.
question is starting.
A 59-year-old man comes to the emergency department because of worsening nausea and reduced urine output for the past 3 days. 1 week ago, he had a 4-day episode of abdominal pain, vomiting, and watery, non-bloody diarrhea that began a day after he returned from a trip to Mexico. He has not been able to eat or drink much since then, but the symptoms resolved 3 days ago. He has a history of tension headaches, for which he takes ibuprofen about 10 times a month. He also has gastroesophageal reflux disease and benign prostatic hyperplasia. His medications are pantoprazole and alfuzacin. He appears pale. Temperature is 36.9 degrees Celsius 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit, pulse is 120 per minute, and blood pressure is 90/60th millimeter Hg. Examination shows dry mucous membranes. The abdomen is soft, without guarding or rebound. Laboratory studies show hemoglobin 14.8 G/dl. Platelet count 250,000/mm3. Serum Na plus 147 milliequivalent/L Cl-. 115 milliequivalent/L K plus 4.
Okay, so this guy had diarrhea. He's probably pre-renal. The BUN and creatinine are evident, right? BUN is 109, creatinine is 301. So question asked which of the following is the most underlying, whatever, cause of this patient's uh,
7
symptoms. The answer is probably
milliequivalent/L
hypofluidemia.
HCO3-. 20 milliequivalent/L urea nitrogen. 109 milligrams per deciliter.
So two questions in like what? And I had to pause and explain to you guys. So it's like,
Glucose 80 milligrams per deciliter. Creatinine
so that's it. It's the
3.1
second question.
milligrams per deciliter.
Albeit
Urinalysis
they're
shows no
easy
abnormalities.
questions. They're easy
Which of the
questions.
following is the most likely underlying cause of this patient's laboratory findings? An 8-year-old boy is brought to the emergency department because of lethargy and several episodes of nausea and vomiting for the past day. He has also had increased thirst and a 6 kilograms, 13 pounds, weight loss over the past 2 months. He has no history of serious illness. He is somnolent and slightly confused. His temperature is 37.5 degrees Celsius 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit, pulse is 110 per minute, respirations are 30 per minute, and blood pressure is 85/68 millimeter of mercury. His mucous membranes are dry. Laboratory studies show hemoglobin 16.2 G/dl. Leukocyte count 9500/mm3. Platelet count 380,000/mm3. Serum Na plus 130 milliequivalent/L K plus 5.5 milliequivalent/L Cl-. 99 milliequivalent/L HCO3-. 16 milliequivalent/L creatinine 1.2 milligrams per deciliter. Glucose 570 milligrams per deciliter. Ketones positive. Blood gases arterial. pH 7.25 PCO2. 21 millimeters of mercury. Which of the following is the most appropriate next step in management?
All right, what do we gotta give her? Diabetic ketoacidosis. Ooh, ooh. What is it? Glucose. Oh, yeah, diabetic ketoacidosis. So yeah, if you're a slow reader like me, these stuff will help you a lot. You want to give him saline, insulin, and potassium. Saline, insulin, and potassium. Okay. See, it's pretty darn genius. This pretty darn genius. Now the other thing I do sometimes is that I do 10 questions at a time. And when like the question is reading, I just take notes of the person age and like you like quickly what I think it is, you know. And then when I come back to it, I kind of like know what things I want to look for to like I'll write down a quick differential and then let's say I'm like, oh, this is either MS or like this or that. And then I'll like quickly go back to the question, look for things that like make me sure what differential it is and then pick the answer. I've been way faster, you know, like when I come after like after hospital, home, you know, tired, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like studying. I do a little bit of studying, I get like 40 questions done. And after this, I'm gonna upload like a video, a long ass video of me doing like as much as questions as possible in like 3 hours, and we'll see how many questions I get done in that time. So go use this method. I think it's a great way of studying. It really like I think for me it's a life changer because I'm a slow reader. Chances are a lot of you watching this are also slow readers. And the other plus it has is that when it's saying you like your brain is not thinking about reading, your brain is thinking about the data, thinking about the information. So it also speeds you up like that. So go use this method. Let me know how it works. Don't overdo it and only do this and then try to write your exam because obviously you need to like practice the exam writing skills. You need to practice reading and analyzing information at the same time. So this is like like something you can combine with what you're already doing. But I think if you use it like that, like as a combination, maybe like if you have your exam, your shelf is in 3 months, you first spend this first 2 months doing it like this and get through like amboss, and then spend the last month doing NBME. You work questions timed, then you're gonna kill your shelf. It's simple. It's very simple logical relationship there. Okay, I'm gonna go study and I'm gonna make that like long ass video of me using this method and trying to see how many questions I get done in an hour. And this like will count like if I don't know a question, I'll have to like take notes, you know. I'm not the questions I didn't stop because I knew what the answer was. So if you don't know what the answer is, if you're like confused, then you gotta stop, you gotta read about it. But this is gonna save you a lot of time on the questions that you already know the answer to, or you got questions you can get to the answer by a little bit of thinking. Okay, so yeah, that's all I have to say for today. Happy studying, happy trying to be a doctor. It's pretty cool if you're in um, basic sciences. Clinicals are pretty cool. If you're in clinicals, um, I hope you're having a good time. Study hard for your steps. Try to. I'm gonna give everybody a tip who is in clinicals, and that is to try to put the patient first, but not like I don't mean that in a oh like care about your patient way, but in a way of put the physical exam and like the literal patient in front of you first, because that's how you that's how you catch things that other people haven't caught. This past week, for example, I caught patient was admitted for pneumonia or whatever. Um, Last week got readmitted again, thinking he has pneumonia. But I can't go into detail. But the problem wasn't the pneumonia. The problem was he had a stricture somewhere here. You know, no one uh, did a. I guess because you get so many people with pneumonia, so many people with COPD exacerbation, no one like really took the time to listen for a stridor in the patient's trachea or look at the scans in that much detail, not even the radiologist. So it pays to put the patient in the center and look at the patient and like the patient's objective data that includes the labs and the physical exam, you know, and the imaging, and look at those with like extra caution and extra attention. Okay, go study, go uh get 270s, go get 95%, you know, do well.